Hello. Hello, hello. Hi. Hello. How are we doing today? Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Isekai, thank you so much for the tier 3 for 47 months. Thank you. And welcome in, everyone. So many new first-time chatters. Hello. Happy Tuesday, innit? I said that this morning on Twitter. I was like, Happy Tuesday, innit? And someone was like, are you British? They were like, no, they were like, you're British? I was like, I can't tell if this is a joke, but no, I'm not British. Yes, this is one of my original hairstyles. I don't wear it very often. I thought it was cute. I think also, like, it's so cute with the ribbons. You like the hair? Thank you, guys. You really thought it was Monday? You're glad to find out it's Tuesday? Isn't that always nice? Like, you think it's Monday and you're like, ah. And then you're like, wait, I'm a day closer to the weekend. That's so awesome. It is quite kawaii. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Are you guys having a good day so far? I hope you're having a good day. I want to quickly also say, first of all, thank you to everyone who came yesterday to VBS yesterday. Last night was night 1, day 1. Today is day 2. Yeah, this hairstyle was on the 1.0. Yes. But yeah, I want to say thank you guys, and thank you to everyone who came back, and thank you also to anyone who maybe didn't get a chance to come yesterday but you watched the VOD, or even if you didn't watch the VOD at all but you're here today. I'm so happy to have you here. We have some pretty cool stuff in store for us today. I'm quite excited. Also, I wanted to say quickly, because I didn't notice this until we were in the Discord last night and we were watching The Chosen. It was like right before The Chosen happened, and I opened my phone after stream last night and I checked my email and I saw I had $100 dono at the end of stream that I never even acknowledged. So I wanted to quickly replay that and say thank you, Anonymous, for the $100 dono. That was crazy. I don't know if they're here right now, but I just wanted to make sure I acknowledged it because that's actually insane. And I'm very, very, very appreciative of that. I was like, oh my goodness, how did I miss that? But it's because I don't have the audio alerts on. I have the regular alerts on, but not the audio alerts, just so it doesn't interfere with the teachings and the conversation and stuff today. So yeah, I hope you guys understand that. I think it can just be a little, my alerts can be a little distracting. Not the follow alerts so much, but the other ones are like, they can be a little distracting. So yeah, but I'm so happy to have you guys back here. I'm glad it seems like everyone's having a pretty good day so far. And either way, I know we're gonna have a nice time tonight. So I'm very happy about it. I'm happy to be here with you guys. Today, if you guys weren't here yesterday, just a brief recap. This is Vacation Bible School, online VTuber Edition. And I am your host, darlingstrawb. You can call me Strawb. Yesterday we talked about love that seeks us. You know, how Jesus seeks us out. He wants us to come home to him, be home with him. Today, we are going to talk about love that serves us. And I think it's going to be really cool. So, we're going to start out by watching a short video just like we did yesterday. Today, there's just one video. So get your listening ears on and get ready. This video is pretty short, and it's all about Jesus washing his disciples' feet and how this will pertain to today's lesson. So yeah. Oh, theater mode, that's better. It's a little chopped off, but you can see it okay.
Stories of the Bible. Jesus washes his disciples' feet. This is Jesus,
Heyo!
Heyo.
who is the Son of God and the Savior of the world. While Jesus was on earth, He taught everyone about God's love. He healed many people from their sickness, performed many miracles like calming storms, and even raised people from the dead.
Wahoo!
At this time, the Jewish people were celebrating a festival called Passover that had been celebrated since the time of Moses, when God brought his people out of Egypt. So Jesus and his disciples went to Jerusalem to celebrate. Jesus had 12 men who followed him through his ministry. They were called his disciples. Jesus and his disciples gathered for one final meal together. Jesus got
Does
up
anyone
from the
know what this final meal was called? I feel like a real teacher. Does anyone know what this final meal was called? Chat? I'm waiting. The Last Supper, that's right. The Last Supper.
table, took
Good
off
job,
his
Jack.
robe, and began to wash his disciples' feet. Jesus loved his disciples, and he knew the time was coming for him to leave them and return to heaven. When Jesus came to Peter, he said,
Wait.
"Are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus said, "You don't understand what I'm doing now, but someday you
I would have totally been Peter, by the way. Like, no, Jesus, what are you doing? Get off the floor. Like, stop.
will."
No.
Peter said, "You will never wash my feet." But Jesus then told him that unless he washed his feet, he would not belong to him.
Oh, well then, okay.
Then Peter said, "Then wash my hands and head as well, not just
Peter is so extra.
my feet." But Jesus told him that was not necessary. He just
Sit down,
needed
Peter.
to wash his feet for Peter to become clean. So Jesus finished washing their feet and said that the disciples should do to others as he had done for them.
Yes.
He told them to follow the example that he had set for them, to serve each other and not think of themselves as greater than any other. Then God would bless them for doing as Jesus had taught them to do.
Pretty cool, huh? So, I want you guys to imagine something for me. Imagine that you are at a fancy dinner for a fancy person. Some important fancy person. Jesus is a very important fancy person. You could use him as an example. Obviously, he's who we're actually talking about. But imagine the most important person in the room suddenly kneels down next to you and starts cleaning your feet. How would that make you feel? I would be like stunned. You know, this person should not be doing that. You know, like you think about someone so important, they would never grovel. You know, that's a good word that I would, would come to mind. They wouldn't be like on the floor like a servant. You know, that was like something like servants did, cleaning people's feet. And so to see someone so important, so powerful, the most powerful person, because, right, they knew he was the Messiah. The disciples knew this. And for him to get down and do that would definitely be a surreal experience, for sure. So this is the scripture that I'm pulling from. John 13:1-5. It was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own, who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with a towel that was wrapped around him. That is a pretty crazy visual. It's just so cool that this is our God. Our God is not someone who is like, I'm so much better, I would never do anything for you, you must serve me. Like, he serves us. He did all these things for us. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So I have a few slides to kind of go more into depth on this. But first, I think we should talk about the fact that love knows its identity. So true love, perfect love, which is the love that Jesus has for us, that only Jesus, only God can have, right? That true perfect love. We can try our best to love people and, love like Jesus, but ultimately we will always fall short, right? Because we're not God. We're not perfect. And yeah, but God has that true love. And love knows its identity. So Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power. So Jesus knew he was in control of everything. Everything was under his power. He was the most powerful person in the room, in the universe, etc. The most powerful person. And yet, he did something that no powerful people in our world ever do. Could you imagine the president getting down and washing someone's feet? I can't imagine a single president we ever had that would do that. I can't. I can't imagine that, I can't imagine any world leader that I know of off the top of my head doing something like that. But yeah, so think about this. If you were the most important person in the room, you, not someone else, but if you were, what would you do at the dinner? If you went to a nice, important dinner, you'd probably give a little speech, a little toast, sit in a nice seat, sit in a throne if you were someone really fancy, like a king, and wait to be served. And Jesus could have did that, right? I mean, clearly the disciples would have did all those things for him. But he didn't do that. He had all the power in the whole world, and yet he used it to serve. And that is what love looks like when it knows exactly who it is, right? When you're not needing to prove anything to anyone, you're not insecure about who you are, not trying to impress anybody. You're secure enough in who you are to do those things, to serve others, to go lower. No, it's not a sermon, it's just a lesson. It's just a lesson. Just a little teaching lesson. Okay, so not only does love know its identity, but love also lowers itself. So he got up and he began to wash his disciples' feet. So think about like the people in your life that you really, really love. You want to do things for those people. You want to be there for those people. You would even probably, if it's someone that you really care about, do things that are kind of gross just because you love that person. Because let's be honest, who wants to wash someone's feet? It was the gross job. Nobody wants to do that. This wasn't just a kind gesture, it was a very shocking reversal of every expectation they had of him. I mean, you see Peter in his response, he's like, Lord, no. You are not going to touch my feet. Like, you are so powerful, so mighty, so perfect. You are not going to do that job. That is way below you. And so Jesus was like, I'm gonna do this anyways, because he wanted to reflect. You see this a lot in the Bible as well, that Jesus shows us how to live, right? You hear people say, like, what would Jesus do? That's like a really common phrase, right? What would Jesus do? But it's true. Jesus shows us in the Bible how to live. We should want to be like Jesus. We should want to live and act like Jesus. And so he shows us here how we should treat people, right? We must be servants. We should serve other people. We should live to serve other people. And there are obviously many ways you can do that. Many ways besides just washing someone's feet, of course. This is a very literal example of serving someone. But we're supposed to serve others. We're not supposed to be selfish. We're not supposed to feel like we're above doing certain things for other people. We should be doing even the gritty, gross things, the hard, things that maybe no one else wants to do. And so he washed the feet of his closest friends. And keep in mind, he also washed the feet of Judas, the one who would betray him. So even knowing that he was going to betray him, even in betrayal, Jesus still chose love. And I honestly find that so powerful that, like, he could know that Judas was going to betray him, and yet he still chose love every time. Every time. That makes me very emotional. Isn't that crazy though? Like, isn't that so crazy cool? Like, crazy awesome, like amazing. Like, I don't know if I could be like that. I don't think I could, right? If I knew someone was going to give me over for, like, not much money at all, give me over so I could die, I don't know if I would be willing to wash his feet, much less even be in the same room as them, Also washing the feet of Peter, who Jesus knew would deny him later. Yeah, right. That's also true. And Peter even says to Jesus, I would never deny you. And he says, no, by the time the rooster crows, you will have denied me 3 times. And Peter's like, what? And sure enough, he denies him 3 times that he says, I didn't even ever know that guy. What do you mean? I didn't know that guy. But Jesus knew all of this, and he still loved them. And this is a good point. That's a good point, Mega Prime in the chat. Mega Prime said, no matter what, Jesus loves us all. And I think this is a great example when we feel like we don't deserve Jesus's love, or we feel like he doesn't love us because maybe we've did something wrong. He loved Judas. He loved Judas. Knowing what Judas was going to do to him. Knowing what he did to him. And he still chose love. So you are not too far gone for his love. He loves you. Love also makes the first move. So Jesus didn't wait to be served by someone else in the room. He took the first step. Even though he was the most important person in the room, he still chose to do the dirty work of washing their feet. So true love isn't always about waiting for something to be easy or comfortable. It's not always about, or it isn't at all, about waiting to do good for other people until they've already done good to you. We should do good for people without ever expecting anything back. We should do it out of the goodness of our heart because we believe that that's what we should do. We shouldn't have a tally, right? Well, I did X, Y, and Z for Sally last week, and I also did something for her 2 weeks ago, and she still hasn't did anything for me. Like, we shouldn't act like that, right? Because that's not how true love acts. True love does things out of the goodness and kindness of your heart. You don't do it to get something back. And you don't wait to do it until someone does something good for you. Love sees a need and it acts first. Yes, too many people definitely expect love to be transactional. And like, while I do understand, you know, if you're always, you know, caring for people and doing all these things, and you notice that someone in your life treats you bad, they treat you poorly, they never put any effort in. I'm not saying that you know, should necessarily keep being friends with that person, right? Or keep them as close as maybe they are. But it's like, you shouldn't hold a grudge because you did something. You should only do something because you truly want to do it. If you don't truly want to do something, then you shouldn't probably do it. Question, can I be forgiven for having premarital deeds if I'm baptized? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Sorry, I'm not an expert or anything, but I believe any sin can be forgiven if you ask for forgiveness and you repent. So, Jesus wants to forgive us. He wants us to come to him and ask for forgiveness and for us to repent. Yes, for sure. You might think no one sees your good deeds, but God does, because true faith produces good works. 1000%. So, some real life applications of this. If you feel far from God, which I think we all at times have felt far from God, it's an important thing. Oh, I just realized that this is an old slide. LOL, this is from yesterday. My bad, chat. I made this slide and I don't think I have a real life application for this one today. This is from yesterday. That's okay. Well, that happens, right? Sometimes we make an oopsie. It still ties in. Yeah, it still ties in. You're right. We should still go over it. That's a good point, because this still ties in. It still applies. If you feel far from God, you need to remember that he does want you there. Like we were just saying, right? He wants you to come to him. He wants you to be there with him. He wants to forgive you. He wants to embrace you. He's already searching for you, and you don't need to get cleaned up first to be found. I love that. I love that, by the way. The notion of God meeting us where we are means so much to me. Like, God will truly meet you where you are. He doesn't expect you to become perfect and then come to him. He loves you as you are, and he will come to you as you are. 1000%. Now, does that mean that eventually he's not going to be working in you and changing you in certain ways? And will that be hard? Yes. And can it take some time? Yes. And will we ever be perfect? No. But that's part of why God's grace is so awesome, right? Because we will never be perfect. We will never be enough without him. Without the blood that Jesus shed, we could never do anything good enough to get into heaven without that sacrifice. So, yeah. It's comforting if you think about it like that. It's very comforting. Also, Villor Crow, thank you so much for the membership on YouTube. I appreciate that. Thank you. I've seen this phrase a lot. God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. I like that. Yeah, I was watching a little short video earlier today, and it was a girl, and she was talking about how so many of us, we wait and we wait and we wait until we think we are good enough to be used by God. We feel like we can't be used by God until we perfect ourselves in some way. We hold off on doing certain things that we feel like we should be doing, right? We feel like God's calling us to do something, but we think, you know, God can't use me yet. I'm too broken. I'm too depressed. I'm too worldly. I sin too much. And we think that God can't use us how we are. But I just don't believe that's true. I think God can take a broken person and he can use them for so much good. He can take all the terrible things in your life and use them for so much good. I really believe that. I really do believe that. He works everything in our good. Even if we don't understand, because his understanding is greater than our understanding, everything is worked together for our good. And also, and I'm guilty of this, I said this just today. I said, and this is one prayer Jesus hasn't answered for me. Talking about my chronic nightmares, because I suffer with nightmares pretty much every night. And that is something that I pray and I pray and I pray. And sometimes I get so upset because I'm like, Jesus, why are you not listening to me? Why are you not taking this from me? I am doing so much that I can, I'm trying so hard and I still struggle with this. But ultimately, it's not my job to question why or why not God, quote unquote, answers a prayer. Because the truth is, he answers all prayers. Sometimes the answer is no, which I think is also a very hard pill to swallow, especially when sometimes we don't understand why God is allowing a certain thing to happen. And I have to just always remind myself, because sometimes I'll think, this just doesn't make sense. This just makes no sense. This feels mean. Why would he let this happen? And then I have to stop myself and I have to remember that his understanding is far greater than my understanding. I don't have to understand everything and why everything happens the way it happens. I don't have to understand all of that. And yeah, someone mentioned Job. I actually had never read Job before. And I recently read it for the first time ever, like the full story. And yeah, it's like, I'll never complain about my life ever again. And Job was such a godly man. Like, he was so good, and he lost everything. And he still praised God. He praised God through it, for it. And yeah, reading that was tough. Right? And even reading that, I found myself questioning God. I find myself questioning God, and I'm like, God, why would you allow this to happen? Especially to someone that you say yourself is a great person, loves you so much. You knew he wasn't going to, you knew he wasn't going to not love you anymore, even if you let all these things, be taken from him. But I have to remind myself, his knowledge is greater. I don't have to comprehend everything, I don't have to comprehend everything, but it's not that you don't have to understand, it's that you can't understand. That's also true. We're not made to understand everything. We just don't have and it's not to say that humans can't understand anything, right? We were made, with logic, with brains. We were made in the image of God. So we were made to want to think similarly to God, but we can never we can never be God, right? We can never think just like God thinks. It's literally not possible. We don't even have the capacity to. So, yeah, we have limited perspectives. So we can't even contemplate it. Sorry, I'm reading chat. Well, not sorry. I'm just trying to go through chat. Someone said that is so true that God uses the broken. We don't need to be fixed first. Oh, it seems you became worse after you became a Christian. You wish to be fixed first before God called you. Yeah, I mean, it's all in God's timing, right? We don't always know why he does what he does. Why certain things happen the way they happen. all we can do is our very best. And yeah, just remember that God can use you just where you are right now. Just exactly where you are right now, as broken as you might feel, as sad as you might feel, as lonely as you might feel. God has a purpose for your life, and He has a purpose for my life. And whether or not it seems like it might feel like things don't make sense right now. It might feel like He doesn't care. He cares. He cares so much. He cares so much. And yeah, God uses the broken because we're all broken. We all have our scars, right? We might not have been through the exact same things, but we all have our things we've been through. We all have our scars, right? And I just think that's really awesome that God uses broken people every day. Yes. Jesus prayed that God's will be done, not His, teaching us how to pray. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for mentioning that, Celestial. Yeah, because like I was also talking about earlier, whenever I was saying, like, in the Bible, so much, like, Jesus is showing us how to be, how to live. And Jesus also, yeah, He shows us how to pray. And He also prays, you know, he prays, like, in the garden, and He's like, God, I really don't want this to happen to me. I know what's about to happen to me. I really don't want this to happen to me. So if you could make it not happen, I would really like for this to not happen. But in the end, your will be done. And I think it's really important for us to include that in our prayers as well. I try to include it in my prayers. Sometimes you almost don't want to include it in your prayer because you're like, no, but I really want this to happen, because sometimes we really feel like we know better than God. And I can be guilty of this myself sometimes. It's like, but no, this clearly has to be what's best for me. This clearly is what needs to happen. But we have to remember that God knows better than us. And so we don't know better than Him, even if we might think that we do. 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me, but He said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. His power is made perfect in weakness, and I'm a very weak person. It is only through God that I have strength, because without God, it's not good. Mookie Mook, hi! Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. It's nice to meet you. My name is Strawb. We're doing a little vacation Bible school, Bible study type stream. It's a little lesson we're doing. It's nice to have you here. We're actually about... Let me see where we are in the schedule. Also, I think someone earlier asked about where Silent Bell was. She's not here just yet. She'll be joining in a little bit, around 6:50-ish. Oh, that's like in like 10 minutes. We're actually right on target. Look at me getting right on target with my schedule. I was a little nervous that I wasn't gonna be like lining up with my schedule good yesterday or today. I've been like right on it. Pretty cool. Pretty awesome. This is so touching. I'm tearing up. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying these streams so much. I really feel like I am meant to do stuff like this. I feel like streams like this, like little lessons and stuff here and there, I feel like stuff like this is what I am meant to be doing right now. And I want to do more of it. Mr. Clean! Oh my goodness, thank you so much for the 10 gifted. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's insane. If you got gifted a sub, make sure you say thank you. Giga Chad, do you belong to a local church? I do. Also, speaking of that, really quickly, and then I'm about to give out the Google form that you guys can fill out for today's discussion, because we're about to start the discussion in a few minutes. But tomorrow I was the big dumb. I don't know how this slipped my mind until literally, I think it was this morning, or maybe it was late last night. But I have church tomorrow. So if we can push back the stream tomorrow by like an hour, if that's okay, push it from 6 to 7. I want to go to church tomorrow. And I feel like you guys can understand that. Also, thank you so much, Ryla Pie, for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate that. God does work in mysterious ways. But yeah, if we can just push the stream back tomorrow. I already confirmed it with Celestium. So we're gonna start at 7 p.m. EST tomorrow instead of 6 p.m. Cause I was thinking about it and I was like, I guess I could skip church. I was like, I don't want to skip church. I was like, I think everyone will understand. I think you guys will also want me to go to church. And also maybe you guys have church. Maybe you want to be able to go to your church as well. I know you guys don't all probably have Wednesday church because I know not all denominations do Wednesday church, but mine does. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because I was like, how did I forget that I have church on Wednesday? But yeah, by 7 o'clock I should be back home and everything should be good. Also must align with your inner teacher a bit. It definitely does. This is like giving me so much like just good feelings in my heart, honestly. I remember Wednesday church services from my childhood long ago. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to now ask my lovely mods if they can put the Google form in the chat. For those of you who maybe weren't here yesterday, the Google form serves as a check-in. It also serves as the discussion forum for today's stream. So on it, we're gonna give you guys 5 to 10 minutes to fill it out real quick. Put your username, which platform you're watching from, whether it's YouTube or Twitch. And for your username, make sure it's the username on the platform you're watching from. So let's say your username on Twitch is Risto Reborn. You would put Risto Reborn for your username and then Twitch as your platform, just so I can make sure that everything is lined up correctly. Okay, I can pin that, don't worry. Thank you, Risto. Thank you. Are you teaching Vacation Bible School? Do you mean right now or at my church? My church already did it and I was one of the leaders. So I was like, I had my own group of kiddos and I taught stuff and I ran around with them and we did games. I was even in a relay race, okay? And my team did win, I will say. My team did win. I was a big help. It was very fun. We did arts and crafts. We did lots of like campfire. It was like a kind of a campy theme, so we had like campfire stories, like campfire Bible stories. It was very fun. It was a good time. But yeah, I did that a few weeks ago, and then now I'm doing this with you guys. Also, someone asked in the chat, what is my denomination? I am Baptist. Yes, yes. Although I'd like to just say I'm a Christ follower, but I do go to a Baptist church. Yes! Strawb's vibes right now. I was the fastest, and besides that, it was Peter. Peter did it. I think I know what you're talking about, right? It's the story where they include... I forget who exactly it is. But it's like... Is it Peter and... It's Peter and someone else, I think, right? And he's like, I was faster than him, and it was like included in the Bible, and it's like... There was no reason to put that in there other than just to like... flex that he was faster. Yeah, John and Peter, that he made it to the was it the tomb? He made it there faster and they made sure to put that. That's so funny to me. But yeah, if you guys can take the next 5 or 10 minutes or so and fill this out. There's also a few other questions for the discussion. Also make sure to include a good email so I can contact you. I realized yesterday I did not ask for an email, because if you did fill out this discussion form, or if you do fill it out all 3 days, you will be eligible to get from me for free. I'll pay for it and ship it and everything for free. It's just a little thank you for being here. But I can't email you if I don't have an email, so if you can give me a good email for you. And then if you can just fill out the few discussion questions to the best of your ability. Feel free to, you know, there's 4 of them tonight, so feel free to focus on maybe 1 or 2 more than the others. I'd like you to answer all of them, but I know you only have 5 or 10 minutes, so feel free to do your best. Uh-oh, did stream lag for anyone else? Can you guys hear me okay? Hello, hello, hello. I was here yesterday but didn't fill out the form for yesterday. Is there a way for me to fill out yesterday's form? I can do that for you, Minty. I don't want to do that too much for people just because like it'll get a bit confusing for me. So make sure you guys fill out the form whenever you see it in chat. But I do remember you were there, Minty, because you were on the picture as well. So I got you. A small pause. Oh, hopefully it's okay. Yes, yes. And then at the end, there is a prayer request option for you. You don't have to put anything there. But just like last night, if you guys want me to pray for you later, anything in particular, no one else is going to see that. So don't worry about that. But yeah, if you'd like me to pray for you, I will pray for you. You had to refresh the YouTube app. It might have been like a little... I don't know. Streamlabs has been really weird recently. But I will say, ever since I got my Wi-Fi, like, I had the person come out and fix my Wi-Fi, it seems the streams have been a lot smoother than before that. Because before that, oh gosh, do you guys remember, like, what was like a week or so ago when we were doing the charity stream? And I couldn't even multi-stream it. Because it was so messed up, it wouldn't even let me multi-stream. But then finally I was able to just stream on Twitch, and it cut my stream into like 3 separate VODs because it kept dying. That was not fun. I think that is like the worst feeling ever as a content creator, is dealing with tech issues. Tech issues are never fun. Nobody likes tech issues. When I know we couldn't even play marbles, it was so mean. But yes, you guys still have, I'm gonna give you, I'd say until 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, we will start, I'll pull Silent Bell in, and we will start the discussion. So you guys have about 8 more minutes to fill out the form. I don't want to rush you or anything, because these questions are important, and I want you to do your best to answer them, so we can all, you know, think about them and talk about them. Scuff is part of the VTuber experience. That's so true. I'm such a perfectionist. I never want scuff anywhere. I want everything to be beautiful and perfect and amazing, awesome, perfect. And that's just not how life works, and that's also not how streaming works. So that's something you have to learn. If this is like a lesson for anyone in chat, if you want to become a content creator and you're a perfectionist like me, realize that you can't be a perfectionist all the time, because sometimes things are just gonna be scuffed, and that's okay. You submitted it? Nice. We have 10 responses so far. Cool, cool. Also, if you do teachings online, make sure to pray over the stream or internet line. Sometimes they get interrupted if the message is important. Yeah, I've been praying over the streams and praying over you guys as well from all the prayer requests you gave last night. That is a good bit of advice. Have you heard of Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell? Yes, I have. I love his clips. I've never seen a full sermon. I probably should look up a full YouTube sermon sometime. I've seen many clips though. Recently there was a really viral one about praying people into the hands of the devil, and people were very upset about it. But it is biblically based. I like him a lot. I think he's a great pastor for sure. From what I've seen, of course I haven't seen everything, but from what I've seen, he seems very passionate, very biblical. I like what he's had to say from what I've seen. I was surprised when you made the video that I saw on YouTube. Which video? I've made a few videos. As the song goes, it's not a VTube stream without scuff. This is true. Ta-da, done! Now we have 20 responses. 5 more minutes, chat. 5 more minutes. Hello, hello. Hope you're all doing well. Found you recently in your story, and the testimony was really touching. I don't quite know what my religious stance is, but I wish you the best, Strawb. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. I completely understand. You know, I didn't quite know where my stance... Well, I had an idea where my stance was, and it wasn't where I was now until... Well, you watched my testimony, you know. So I get it. I say that to say I get it. No, unfortunately, it is not appropriate to spam anything in the chat. Please don't spam my chat with things. My mods work so hard. They work too hard. Your grandma's Baptist? Yeah, I was raised Baptist and also non-denominational as well. My mom was more non-denominational. My grandparents were more Baptist. But honestly, I think, you know, just go to a church that preaches from the Bible. That's my opinion. And that's what I look for in a good church, is just a church that preaches the Word of God accurately. Is what I like. Hi, Silence. Hello, how are you? Welcome in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, Silence gonna be on stream in a few minutes. A few minutes. Almost had a crisis. Please don't have a crisis. We need you. I'm excited to talk with Silent. We've gotten to talk a teeny bit, but honestly not very much. So I'm very excited for the conversation that we're going to have today. I'm excited to hear more about her and her story. By mod, do you mean your husband Rev? No, Rev actually like never really mods for me. He's busy with his own stuff. I have my own mods. You see them in the chat. They have their little... Well, on Twitch they have a sword, and on YouTube they have a wrench. But I have the best mods. I might be biased, but I'm accurate. I have the best mods ever. Yep, like Risto. Thank you, Risto, for all your help. Thank you, thank you. I really like the questions today. It really helped me think about my own situation and how he might have felt with Jesus when he was with the disciples. Good. I'm really glad that you're enjoying the questions. For those of you who... Maybe some of you didn't want to fill out the form, maybe you haven't gotten there yet. There's still 2 minutes left to fill out the form. It is pinned at the top of chat. But the questions are, why do you think Jesus showed love by serving others, even though he was so powerful? How do you think the disciples felt when Jesus, their teacher, washed their feet? And what might this teach us about love? Why might it be tough to serve someone you don't like? That one really gets me. And then what's a practical way you can serve someone this week? So kind of trying to apply it to your life right now. Yeah, just wrote down form 2 if Elka does it down. Good, that makes me so happy. Can I be a mod? I don't have mod applications open right now, but I do open them usually once or twice a year. Usually at least once a year I'll open up mod applications because, you know, certain mods will, you know, be really busy. Maybe they have work schedule changes. Maybe my stream times have changed a little bit. So, you know, I'll have some mods leave and then I'll have to get a few more here and there. So always keep your eye peeled for if I ever have new mod openings. And you can always apply whenever I do. If I go to yesterday's stream and fill out the form, does that count for the card? No, unfortunately, you had to have been there yesterday. You have to be there all 3 days. I'm sorry. It's kind of crazy though. We had over 100 form submissions yesterday. So I'm like, am I gonna be sending out 100? I wasn't expecting. I mean, I will do it. I'm a woman of my word. I will I will send out signed prints to everyone and everything, but I was honestly not expecting to have this many responses, so there is a form today. If you look at the pinned top of chat, and I won't close the submissions for it until after stream is over, so you have the rest of the stream to fill it out, to make sure that you're checked in for the day. So yeah, it's at the top of the stream. It looks like it is 7 o'clock. So let me open up Discord. We're gonna pull Silent Bell in. I'm excited for all of us to get to know her a little better. Let's see. I gotta add her little Fuji Tech chibi thingy, or however it's gonna look. And I'm gonna close the, if I can find it. Where is the window capture? Here we go. I'm gonna close this. I'm gonna make myself larger. Yay, maybe a little less large. That's good. And then I will add her. We'll give her a call. Hello.
Wow.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you guys hear her okay? Speak to the chat.
Hello. Hello.
Nice. I had to turn you up a little bit. You might have to turn me up on your end too, because my Discord mic on my computer is always a little funky. It's always a little low.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, good.
Got
So
you.
you guys can hear her good? Good. Oh, she's right on top of me. Hold on. You look so devious as well. Like
Always.
That's funny. So how are you doing today?
I almost had a crisis, but we're good.
Yeah,
It's
you
all good.
mentioned that. I was like, no crisis. No crisis allowed. Well, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone, for anyone who maybe isn't familiar with you?
Yeah. Hello. My name is Silent Bell. I am another Christian VTuber. I mostly play my silly games and do just chatting streams, but every Sunday we usually do Bible readings and just talk a lot about Jesus and just hang out.
Nice.
Just to see it.
Yeah, that's so cool. I was telling chat a little earlier, I don't know if you were here or not yet, but I was telling them, like, we haven't really had the chance to talk a whole lot yet, but I was really excited for tonight because we're gonna get to know each other a little better. Also, I'm gonna move you to the, I feel like the way I'm looking at my computer screen makes me look I'm looking over here, so I'm gonna flip us around so it looks like I'm not looking away from you. That looks much better now. It looks like I look like I was like looking away from you before.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, cool.
I love your model, by the way.
Aw, thank you. Really, that's so sweet. I like your model too. Your model's really cute. Well, this one also, but I mean like your regular model.
Well, this is like the best model ever.
I mean, this one's great. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, why do you have a regular model when you have this one? Come on.
Exactly. Like, just gonna permanently stream with this one now.
I think I might need one of these, honestly. I never really collab much, so I never really had a reason to get like a reactive. But maybe I need one of those.
It's great. Celeste showed me like the person who made the gremlin one, and I was like, I need one.
Okay, that's perfect. Perfect. Well, let me screen share with you actually these questions so you can see them on your end, because I'm not gonna put them up on the screen for everyone to see, just because you know, I don't want any sensitive information to get shown, like their names and such. Okay, emails. Okay, but here are some of the questions, and I guess I'm gonna start off. English is hard. I guess I'm going to start off by asking you first, you know, your thoughts about the question, and then we can kind of go into what everyone else was saying and maybe my thoughts as well, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So, the first question is, why do you think Jesus showed love by serving others even though he was so powerful?
Because God is literally the embodiment of everything that is good. Everything that is love, good, kindness, and when he humbled himself into the form of Jesus Christ and came down to show us essentially how to live, like, this is how we should be treating other people.
Yeah.
And we are broken, sinful people, and we don't treat each other very nicely. And so
No.
Christ came down to be that example and be like, hey, we can love each other and just be good to everyone. It's not that hard.
For sure. No, I love that. I love that a lot. I definitely think he came to be an example for us to follow and to like I was saying earlier, the phrase, what would Jesus do, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what would he do? He would love even when you're not being loved. He would still love anyways. And we see that, right, in the Bible in so many different ways. We see even when someone didn't treat him right, he still loved anyways, and he never was hateful. And that's something that, like, I really want to be more like that, because sometimes you can get so angry and you can feel so bitter and you can just feel hateful sometimes, and I hate that. I hate the hateful feeling, and I just
100%.
want to feel that loving feeling, right? And like the love by serving others as well. I just think that's it's so humble. Like you said, like he humbled himself. He's just like the embodiment of that. Like you said, I mean, he is the embodiment of everything good. And one of the best good things I think in the world is serving others and being, a helper to other people. So,
because you do generally like just serving people, it fulfills you in a different way. Like, it makes you feel good because you want to serve someone else, you want to make someone else's day.
yes, for sure.
And it doesn't like compare to like the feeling of, say, like, oh, you go buy yourself something that you really want or whatever. Like, there's just something that makes you feel just really warm and fuzzy about doing something for someone else.
No, for sure. Like, even, I mean, obviously there are many ways to serve someone, right? But like, I feel like a good example could even be like giving someone a gift, for maybe like their birthday or for Christmas, and like being so excited for them to open it because you were so thoughtful with picking it out, even if it's not something expensive. But even if it's just like a handwritten card to like your grandma, and she's gonna just cry over it because it's just so thoughtful. And like those kind of feelings inside, like you said, you can't buy feelings like that. It feels, someone said in chat, it's gratifying to see your positive influence on someone. And that it really is. It feels so good. So that's cool. Some of the replies, I'll kind of look through a few of them. Someone said, I think it's because he loves and cares about us and wants to teach us love and care about one another, since he was also a teacher to his followers, which is a good point. Because sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes I'll be reading the Bible, and I'll come across like a certain story, or just like studying it, and I'll come across a certain story with like the disciples where like maybe they did something wrong, and I'm like, oh, this makes me feel a little better. Like, even his closest, like his disciples still like messed up and did bad things sometimes, and he still loved them and forgave them, and that's a nice feeling. I was thinking about recently, like Peter, when he was like gonna walk, when he did walk on water, and he gets out of the boat, he's like so ready to get out of the boat, like, Lord, if that is you, tell me to come to you. And so he comes to him and he's so excited, and then he realizes where he is, right? He realizes it's storming, it's crazy, like this is so, I'm on top of water, and then they start to sink. And he like reaches out for Jesus and he's like, you know, Lord, help me. I'm, you know, gonna drown. And God reaches out and he helps him, and he's like, you have little faith, you know, why did you not believe? And seeing that, like seeing Peter do that, and like it made me feel so much better just knowing that like it's okay if I, you know, sometimes stumble, sometimes feel like I don't have, you know, tons of faith. Like all you need is the faith of a mustard seed, which is also just very comforting, you know?
And even I go through my moments where I definitely relate to Peter a lot, because he's also like kind of at least from what I remember, also like kind of on like the angsty side. So he's just like sometimes a little just easily irritated. But when he's on the water also and trying to walk to Jesus on the water, it also shows us that like even when we let ourselves kind of fall back a little bit and we take our eyes off of Jesus and let all the craziness and the chaos around us get overwhelming, that's when we do start to fall and we drown. But Jesus is always there to bring us right back up.
Yeah. That is nice. That's such a nice, like, it's just, I keep saying it's comforting, but it is, like, it's just so comforting knowing that he is there for us, and that he doesn't ever leave, even when it feels like he is far away. He's not far away, right? He's always right there, which is so nice. Someone else said, let's see. I think Jesus showed love by serving others to demonstrate that anyone is capable of showing humility in their love to others. I think that's a good one too, right? Because being, you know, showing humility and being humble, I think they're just very important things that Jesus wanted to display for us to show that this is how we should treat people, right? And like, he wants us to not be full of ourselves, not feel like we're better.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Your doggo is adorable. But
a menace to society.
But yeah, he wants us to be, you know, to not feel like we're better than that. We're not better than anyone. And to humble ourselves in those ways. So yeah. Let's go on to the next question. How it's okay. Moses is like, why aren't we talking about him instead?
Literally though, he's like, Mom, you just got home and you're not playing with me. How dare you?
This is so offensive. Chat, for those of you who don't know, her dog is named Moses. I realize that might be weird. They'd be like, Moses, what? Okay, how do you think the disciples felt when Jesus, their teacher, washed their feet, and what might this teach us about love?
So definitely, I mean, if I was in their position as the disciple, I would, from what I also remember is also like they were just kind of like, wait, you're the Christ, why are you washing our feet? Like, yeah, no, for sure, we should be doing this to you. Yes, I mean that's like what Peter said, right? Peter's like, no, Lord, like let me do it for you. Like I'm not gonna let you wash my feet. Like, yeah, for sure. But it just shows that like God loves us so much, and he wants us to serve him in the same way, but he also just shows us how to serve as well. Yeah, it's just another example of his love. But it also adds that feeling of like, as he was washing their feet, just that feeling of unworthiness, because we can often feel like we are not worthy to go to God. And that can
Yes.
sometimes get in our heads and be like, oh, I'm not worthy. God don't love me because I do all these terrible things. But that is like, that's the whole point, is we are not worthy of this grace, of this love, of this kindness, but he does it anyways.
Yeah. God is so good. Like,
Yep.
I know it's like said so much, but I don't think it can ever be said too much. It's just the truth. But I mean, you said it just perfectly, right? Like, we are not worthy, you know, of the forgiveness. It was a gift. It's a gift, and he loves us anyways. Like, and I think that is the point, right, of unconditional love, perfect love. You don't have to earn it.
Yeah.
You just get it just because. It's like, I mean, the best way to describe it, right? And God is our Father, you know, the Father, but is a father's love, right? Or a parent's love. Like, obviously it's not always the case, right? But really it should be, and a lot of times it is, that your parents love you unconditionally. You could do something so awful, and when you're a kid, especially when you're a little kid, and even when you're older, you might feel like, I did this thing, and now my parents don't love me anymore. You know, that how could they ever forgive me? But, you know, and you see this too, I feel like, whenever you get a little older, or even if you become a parent yourself, but just when you get older, you come to kind of realize, like, no, your parents love you no matter what. You could do, you know, the craziest things ever. Like, you could do anything, and they would still love you. I know a lot of parents that will, like, jokingly be like, you could kill someone, I would still love you. You could go to prison, I would still love you. Like, it's unconditional. And I mean, the truth is, that is how God is, right? Like, Moses did kill somebody. That happened, and he was forgiven. And he is Moses, you know, like, so just, you know, for us to remind ourselves that we can do awful things, and we can still be forgiven, and we're still loved either way by God. So, yeah, someone in chat asked, what's my opinion on the Old Testament? That's kind of a loaded question, but I will say my answer for you is that Jesus says himself he did not come to abolish the law. He came to fulfill it, and he shows us how to interpret it, right? So I think the Old Testament is great, and the New Testament is great. It's all the Bible, and love it all.
It's just as important.
Yep. For sure. Let me see some of these replies. Yeah, a lot of people are saying they would have been confused but grateful, and knowing that he truly loved them. They probably felt loved and cared for. To me, it shows that making people feel loved and cared for. Oh, every time someone does a new response, it like it scrolls up to the top. I'm like, I was reading that. They must have been shocked teaching us love should be equal among all. Yeah, because this was very shocking. I mean, this would be shocking today, but I feel like especially in like their time, like Jesus's time, this was like extra shocking. Like it would be shocking now, but it was like, if you think it's crazy now, it was way more crazy back then, you know?
For sure.
So, yeah, they would have felt honored and like they were unworthy to have their feet washed by Jesus. But I would assume they realized it was a lesson in love and humility. It shows no matter how powerful you are, you serve others and show love. And I think that's important too, because, you know, I feel like we keep kind of comparing it to like royalty, which, I mean, Jesus is Lord. But whenever we think about like a king, you know, like in regular context, and you think about them, you know, being up on their throne, do they wash people's feet? No. A king is not going to wash someone's feet. Not unless he's Jesus. But but you can be a good king and serve your people in other ways, right? Like, To be a good king, like, theoretically, like, what you would, like, if someone was to ask, like, how do you be a good king? I feel like you would answer and say, to serve your people, right? Because a bad king is one that doesn't serve their people. They serve themselves and their own interests, and they don't care about the people. But to be a good king, to be a good person, you would serve others. So, and Jesus is the best and the only Lord. So,
The way, the truth, and the life.
yep. And then, okay, the next question is, I love this question. Why might it be tough to serve someone you don't like? What do you think, Silent?
As someone who has been in this situation, so one of my biggest struggles is forgiving people, right?
Oh, me too.
I think that's same can be said for like a lot of people. We don't want to be nice to those who have wronged us. We don't want to forgive them. We don't want to give them a second chance. We just want to, be like, well, fine, and then just walk away. And it's just part of our I guess our evil nature. I'm gonna call it evil because we should be forgiving of people. And like, yes, people fail us, and that is still kind of a tough lesson to learn. But the only one who doesn't fail is God. Even your own family is gonna fail you. Even your spouse is gonna fail you. Your siblings, your best friends, everyone's going to wrong you in some way at some point.
Yeah.
Severity obviously can vary, but regardless, everyone's gonna fail you at some point. And we just naturally want to hold grudges, and it's very easy to hold a grudge and not forgive, but we should.
That's so true. I struggle with that so hard. Especially, like, people online, like, a little bit, like, and, like, friendships like that, like, a little bit, and even strangers, like, yeah, you can struggle to forgive a stranger, but honestly, personally, that's easy compared to, like, struggling to forgive someone in your life that's, like, your family, or, like, a close, lifelong friend that did something really, really awful to you. Like, that's what's hard to forgive, right? Because it's, like, you were supposed to love me. You were supposed to, like, be there for me and not hurt me, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we can't even wrap our mind around why people in our lives do certain things to us or treat us certain ways, and we'll still love them regardless, right? Because, let's say they're a family member and you're like, well, they're my family member, I love them, and it's not always bad, but when it is bad, it's bad, right? But it's so hard to forgive people, but you have to really remember that Jesus wants us to forgive. He tells us, surely you will forgive, was it 77 times when he says, I forgive
70 times 7?
Yeah, he's like, would I forgive them 7 times, Lord? He's like, I will tell you, you'll forgive them 77 times. He's like, okay, that's a lot of times. But, all that to say, like, we should be forgiving people, especially when they come to us and ask for forgiveness. But ultimately, I think when you're forgiving someone, I think so much of it is for yourself. Like, it really is. Like, you hear people say that, right? Like, oh, well, when you're forgiving someone, it's really more for you than the other person. But, like, I really think it is more for you than the other person. Because, like, while it is good for the other person, I think it is good for them. Like, holding on to that inside of you and just letting it eat you up inside, it's not good for you, and it doesn't serve you in any way. So I think the best thing to do is, quite literally just give it to God and pray to God and say, God, I don't know why this person that I love, that claims to love me, we're friends, we're, related, whoever it is, doesn't matter, random stranger, like, I can't begin to know why this is happening, but please help me to be able to forgive this person. Because I think sometimes I will catch myself, all the time, asking God, like, help me, just help me, please help me forgive, help me to be nicer, help me to be slow to anger, slow to speak. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with asking God for help. God wants you to come to him and ask him for help. And I think that it's a good thing. So, and it's tough. It's tough to serve someone you don't like. But we have to remember that that's what God wants us to do. And ultimately, we do the things we do to please God. I think when you are a Christian, that's your goal, right? You want to please God because you love God. And why would you want to hurt someone that you love? And with God, you know, with Jesus, it's like he tells you what to do to love him. And when you sin, that hurts him. So you don't want